Hello everyone. In this session, we want to talk about multicast transmission using Windows deployment services. When we are transmitting large operating system images over the network, we agree that Windows deployment services is an efficient way of transmitting these images. However, pushing multi-gigabyte files across the network creates a large amount of traffic. By using this new multicast feature, what we can do is further reduce the network cost of using Windows deployment services. Deployment. With multicasting, the server will send the data a single time. And you see here we have multiple targets. The targets will receive the same data. And what this can do is cut down the network traffic to a fraction of the equivalent number of multiple unicast transmissions. Windows Deployment Services gives us two types of multicasting. We have scheduled cast multicasting. And with scheduled class multicasting, we have two types. There are two ways that we can configure scheduled cast. One is called the client count, and one is called the point in time. We also have another type of multicast transmission, which is the autocast transmission, where the target computer can join the autocast at any time. Let's talk some more about the two options on the scheduled cast. We have the client count. When you specify a client count, meaning you want to specify the number of clients that you want to receive the transmission, the server will wait until that defined count of connected clients is reached, and then it will start sending the information to the client computer. But you first have to define that number within the configuration for multicast. Then under the scheduled cast, you also have the point in time. And when you specify a point in time, a specific time, the server will wait until the specified time and begin deploying to the client computers. Now, what's the difference between the two? While scheduled cast provides a more efficient use of the network, it is somewhat labor intensive because each target computer must be connected, turned on, and queued. So if you had defined in your configuration settings that you wanted 40 computers to receive the transmission, then each of those computers have to be turned on and connected before that transmission would begin. Whereas for AutoCast, that target can join the AutoCast at any time, and the server repeats the transmission as long as targets are connected. If, for example, a target starts receiving the image in the middle, or if it misses some portion of the image, it still remains connected and collects the additional parts of the file when the server restarts the transmission. For our lab exercise, we're going to be creating a multicast scheduled cast transmission. We want to click on Tools, Windows Deployment Services. We want to expand servers. And we want to expand the server that we're using for our transmission. And here we have Multicast Transmissions. We want to right-click on Multicast Transmissions and select Create Multicast Transmission. For the name of our transmission, we want to type Finance Department. But first, let us look at the description here for the transmission. It says, this wizard creates a multicast transmission for an image. Once created, Windows Deployment Services will transmit the image to multiple clients using a single transmission instead of one transmission for each client. This can significantly reduce the amount of network bandwidth that is used. We're going to go ahead and type the name for the transmission. We're going to call it Finance Department. We're going to press Enter. Then we want to click on Next, Continue. We now want to select the image group that contains the image that we want to transmit. So we click on the down arrow and select Finance South. Then we want to click on the image that we want to transmit. We're going to click on this image and then click on Next to continue. We have a choice here of selecting the type of image we want to transmit. Do we want to use AutoCast, where we will start the transmission automatically when the client receives the image? Or do we want to use Scheduled Cast, where we have a choice of putting in the number of clients that we want to receive that image, or putting the time that we want that image to start? We're going to choose Scheduled Cast, so we want to click on Scheduled Cast. And we want the image to go to 40 client computers. So we're going to select this checkbox, start when the number of clients that have requested the image. We're going to click in the box. And then for the threshold, we're going to click in the threshold box. And we're going to type 40, 40, and press Enter. We want to click on Next to continue. And you can see here, you have successfully created the following multicast transmissions. In the transmission group, you have the image name, and the type that we used was Scheduled Cast. So we have looked at two different types of transmissions, Scheduled Cast and AutoCast. For our lab, we did Scheduled Cast, and that is how we can create these images to transmit over the network for multiple computers, saving bandwidth. This is the end of our session on multicast transmissions. I want to thank you for listening.